And welcome back, everybody, to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money-taking. The man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in YouTube entertainment today, Mr. Zod. And I took the general out because, you know, DC and trademark. So I'm going to be slowly switching my channel. So YouTube has yet no other reason to pull my videos. Let me start by welcoming everybody in this wonderful chat. We got Susan, I got Aura of Peace, Shelby, what's up?
Hey,
we got Moonshade, AP, Linda, Witchy One. We got my Australian brother, Stevie J. How you doing, Mike? There's my terrible Australian for today. Let me see. We got Nadie8. Hello. You're new. I haven't seen you. We have Shelly. How are you doing, Shelly? Seen you a couple of times. Tina, how are you? Amanda, and let me see. Did I miss anyone?
Misanthropy's in the house.
Misanthropy. Good. Witchy One, how are you?
And Donald Dolan. Hey, Donald.
Donald, how are you doing, Donald? It's good to see you here. Yeah, Donald's been watching me, which I feel really honored because some of my chats I have, I'm like, oh goodness, I hope people do it as like, you know, I'm all over the range of spectrum. I do my funny Friday nights where I'm a little crass, and then I'll do a review with Bitchy, which is interesting. And then I have my serious topics, it's like here. So wide range for everyone.
And Catherine's here. This is great. All the cool kids are doing it. I love it. I love it. And Bella's here. Hey, Bella. This is great.
You know, it's because you're here, and a lot of people apparently like you. When I put this, I saw the retweets, and everyone was like, "I love Les," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, awesome." I mean, I'm so glad because I was looking forward to this one for a while. I had a great interview with Shelby, and then I reached out to you, and you were like so awesome, and I was like, oh wow. And so if you guys don't know, I have the spiritually empowered one, the beautiful Les. How are you doing today? How is everything?
I have zero complaints. Everything is awesome. Life is good. Yeah, 2021 is actually pretty good. So thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and spend time with you and spend time with everyone in the chat. How are you today? Has anyone asked you that yet?
You know, oh man, no one's turned the question on me. Like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Noon streams are a little bit tougher. I only have my camera like this because underneath I have like my pajama pants on, and I've been just chilling because I work the third shift. So it's good to be able to do a noon stream. I typically like to do things a little bit later. If you guys hang around my channel, I do like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, more of a night owl, but I like to do these in the day because, you know, time zones, people have a hard time getting to my later streams.
Yeah.
So
yeah, especially for our UK people, because we do have such a mass UK collective. It's hard to accommodate for them as well, is what I find. But thank you for wearing pants. We appreciate that.
well, you know, I figure that's like proper protocol or something. And you know, YouTube pulled my video when Bitchy showed her back tat because
I saw that. What on earth? And the thing is, the things I have seen on YouTube that are monetized, it's like, well, why are we getting pulled and demonetized if that is getting, like, it's ridiculous. So anyways, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that happened. I didn't understand it. It made no sense to me because it wasn't offensive. Well, it wasn't offensive to me, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, I did the whole steps to talking to YouTube to get it back on. Yes, Stevie, I know pants are always required. Stevie, if you guys don't know, if you guys don't know, I've been hanging out with Stevie for a long time, and Stevie's been there for some outlandish streams. And the stuff that I always thought would be pulled on this channel never has happened. I mean, I've drank on the channel numerous times. I broke a board with my head for my 200 subs because I was a martial arts instructor. I did this live. A bunch of like outlandish things, and that's the thing that finally they go, nope, can't do that.
Not allowed. Not allowed. So what are you going to do when you hit 1,000 is really my question now, because you did something pretty great for 200. Like, you got to up your game, dude.
I don't know, man. Like, I always joke that like for 1,000, I don't know, I'd have to do something pretty outlandish. So I don't know, maybe I'll put a poll up and see what the people want. I'm all about the people, so I'll be like, what do you want Zod to do for 1,000? I'll think of some wacky things and put it in a thing.
Well, we're gonna pick like the craziest one, right? Like, so whatever you're gonna put up there, make sure you're willing to do it, because the crazier, the better, and we want to see it.
Like, if Stevie in the chat says, "Oh, you've done so much work." Shh, I'm trying to get people over here. I tried to bury those. No, I kept all my videos.
Stevie's gonna put links into all the ones that you want hidden.
Yeah, I mean, through the years I've said so much outlandish stuff, but today we're here about you. And today, if you guys don't know, my Fandom Talks is to highlight great content creators. And I get into the nitty gritty because I want them to be able to tell you guys about themselves. And I built this so you guys can get a better understanding of the content creator. Because look, at the end of the day, people think us YouTubers, when we say certain stuff, we're jerks and things like that. Go see my comments for my Captain Marvel review. I didn't even bash it. And I had so many people say, die and you suck and things like that. So it kind of came from that. When that happened to me, I said, I want all of these morons who come in and leave me, these outlandish comments to know at the end of the day, we're still people. We have families. Most of us have jobs. And, I want you to understand who your content creator is and why they do what they do, because I think it makes for, one, people learn some stuff and they might be able to connect better. And two, it shows we're all human beings at the end of the day, and that we should be treated with respect. Look, if you don't agree with a creator, that's fine. We're not going to be for everyone. But you could at least respectfully reply in the comments to the creator and voice your opinion. I never censor anything in my chat. Shelby's crazy. If you don't like the video, don't watch it. Big exclamations.
And that's just it. And I'm fairly blessed. I am fairly blessed that it's not very often I get a comment that really just kicks me in the heart. But at the end of the day, I just remind myself that, well, this person isn't happy in their life. And if they think that tearing me down or us down or whoever is going to make themselves feel better, well, it's going to make them feel better for a little bit until that high goes away of them feeling that they've hurt us in one way or another, that they're going to go do it again. So it's not a reflection of us. It's a reflection of them. So I leave them up, and people are like, that's just a breeding ground for more people to it's almost like an invitation for them to do it. But at the end of the day, it's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of me. But still, exactly. It's the respect thing. Like, you come in, you took the time, but thank you for the view. I appreciate that. Thank you for the view. You got that. I love
what Shelby said. She said, "Nice mug." Thank you, Shelby. That will take care of my shameless promo I'm going to do. If you guys love this lovely face, I have a Teespring store now. First off, my initial products right now, every dollar goes to help a hungry child somewhere around the world, and they promote it in their little thing. I think it might just be the face mask, maybe the mug. And also, if I get enough traction, I'm going to use Teespring to set up a donation, and I'm going to put on Twitter, I'm going to put up a bunch of places to donate to, and you guys pick the charity and we're going to donate to it, because I believe in helping a lot of people out. My mom gave a kidney to someone to help them. They were on the transplant list forever. They became a good friend of our family now. His name's Kai. He's a great person. Really deserved the chance and was like really sick. And my mom did that. And after she did that, I thought to myself, could I ever do something like that to someone, where my mom just did it without thinking about it? And it got me to thinking, how many people are waiting on transplant lists and things like that? Mm-hmm. And there's kids and young adults. And because the wait is so terrible, they don't get the help they need. So I want to do a charity to that too, and to help all of those people that are waiting, or, you know, speed up the process or whatever I need to do, because it just struck me like, you know, this could be you know, me one day, could be my daughter. Yeah. And I would want someone to be doing what they can to help out. So that's where I want to go with this. So it's not just shamelessly promoting me so I can make more money. I want to use it to improve my channel and things like that. So if you like some of it, go check it out. We've got a mug, a t-shirt, and a face mask. And my mug says, Zod says JD is innocent. So you can use one of those. And
I love it. I'm going to run on over and get one as soon as we're done. That's great. And so is this something that we can tweet out as well on a regular basis, and like Instagram out? And
oh, yeah.
Facebook, I'm not a Facebook person, but I can do that.
Oh, Lynn. Hey, Lynn says, hey, Zod, Shelby, doing good for others is what the world needs more of. Bravo. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, when really I started, I modeled this because I got mad. You know, before we get into it, I got mad because I used to see content creators, and I literally saw this guy come live, right? He's got a bunch of subs, and he goes, hey guys, I got a flat tire here, and I need you guys in there to send super chats. And I'm just like, that is so like, dude, just call AAA. Why are you doing a live stream and exploiting these people to give you money? Like, I don't want to be like one of those people. If people donate, if people get stuff, that's cool. Thank you. But you don't have to. I don't want people to feel obligated to do that. I don't think none of us who do this want that. So that's why I started this.
That's fantastic. You know? That's horrible. And that's manipulation too, because certain people just have a very giving heart and soul, and they will say, oh, a person in need, I need to help, because that's just it's in their DNA. And unfortunately, that's horrible. That's no.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, it goes back to the Johnny Depp thing, which I'm sure we'll get into. But before all that, the main question I've wanted to ask, because I went to your website. Yes, Zod does research on his people he has on. So I went to your website, and I noticed that you coach people, like literally your tag, you're coaching people, and it fascinates me. And I wanted to know, what got you started into YouTubing and helping people who go through rough situations like breakups and things like that?
Well, it all started because there was really, let's back it up. I was married to Amber. Let's just put it in a nutshell. And when I didn't understand what was going on, and I didn't understand what was going on with myself. And it wasn't until years, like it was a while after, like a couple of years after my divorce, and couldn't get my life back on track. Like I just could not get traction in anything, and my happiness was the biggest issue. So if you're not happy, you obviously can't do much of anything. And it wasn't until years later that I realized what I was dealing with, like the kind of individual I was dealing with. And once you have that validation that you're not alone, there is a way out of it. I realized that there isn't enough. Like we just don't have enough education. We don't have enough people willing to sit down and just be that sounding board, and just be that open source for someone to just kind of dump all their stuff on you and kind of weed through all of it and leave the things that don't, everything matters, but leave the things that we can leave behind and build on the things that we want to build up within ourselves. It's very multifaceted, but there just wasn't enough. And I've always been wanting to be of service to people. That's my jam. And watching people get happy and succeed really just, it gets my blood flowing. It really excites me. So what better way to help people from a situation that I personally know? So, because a lot of the times, if you've never been in a situation with an Amber type person, you couldn't actually imagine what it's like, because they do things that we don't even understand. So how are we supposed to explain it to someone when we don't even understand it? We can't make sense of it. And then it's so crazy. And you're like, no one else is going to believe me. So I'm just going to keep this to myself. And meanwhile, the abuse keeps going and going and getting worse and worse. So when you have someone able to sit down with you and completely understand, and even if I wasn't in that exact situation, I can relate. I will believe you is essentially what it comes down to, because a lot of us aren't believed, AKA Johnny. We're just not believed. So it's just turned into a thing where, as I was healing myself, it just morphed into this thing that I get so much joy out of.
That's great. I wanted to bring it to that point, like, because you made an excellent point about people not believing you, and there's the other point to it too, that and I felt this personally as someone who served, and a lot of people don't understand you unless they were in it. And my problem with going to like a therapist and things like that was, I would look at this person and they give you their tips or whatever and be like, how the hell do you know what I'm going through, because you haven't experienced it? So I like that piece that you've actually gone through it. So you can give those answers, or you can connect with that person that other people wouldn't be able to connect with, because, you have your friends that go, oh man, get over it, or you'll find someone else. I hate those cliche lines. And it's like, no, you don't know what I feel like right now. I'm not going to ever find anybody else. I can't do better.
Right.
But when it's someone like you saying something to someone and you're like, hey, I've been through it, I know what you're going through on some level. I think that really helps people to open up.
Yeah. And it's hard, and it's hard to open up to people to begin with. And because you don't trust anybody. And I don't know, I've always had this ability that people just tell me things, like complete strangers will just tell me their life story, which is an honor, but at the same time, it gets really taxing, because people they're just always like emotional dumpster on you. So I had to learn how to navigate around that, but I figured, why not use that to my advantage? Why not use that trait that I have inherently, that people just open up? Why don't I just use that to my advantage and just be the sounding board? And it just helps, because when you've been through this, there's so many things that we need to unravel, and there's so many things that we need to make sense of, that our friends don't want to hear it anymore. And that's the sad part, is we get to a point, if you are talking to your friends, they get to a point, they're like, we don't want to hear this anymore. Like, shut up. Like, enough is enough. You're killing the vibe. No one wants to hang around with you anymore. So instead of doing that to your friends, I'm not going to tell you that I'm done talking when we're done talking about it, when you're done talking about it. So just to get it out there, so when they do get around their friends, they don't need to have the constant on repeat of what's going on. And they're not doing it on purpose. We do not do that on purpose. It's just our brains are trying to make sense of the whole thing. We're trying to figure out what happened, where we went wrong, where they went wrong, looking for signs all over the place. So it's good for us to talk. And for a lot of people, the therapist side of it is not quite as helpful. Not quite as helpful, because on a therapist side, the therapist can't say, well, can I give you my experience when I went through this? And a therapist can't do that. So you always have that wall. I have the beautiful liberty of being able to share my experiences.
And Shelley made a great point. That's why these communities are so important. People need help, support, especially when they in turn are the support for so many others. And I think that that's true. I was once a part of a community that, you know, if you followed me a while, you know who it was, but I came from a Star Wars side of things when I got started. There's a little hashtag you guys may know of. I was in that community, but it changed and it morphed over time into something that got away from what the original message was. So when you get into big communities, it's always good to stay on point of to what you're fighting for. The thing I found amazing about this community is we've talked about so many things on different channels, not just the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and seeing people's responses back and stuff, especially on my channel. You know, it shows me the kind of people, and it's really touching to have so many people who can gather together, talk with each other in the chat. And I think it makes for great interaction, and that's what it should be about, man, to see like the good YouTube does of bringing all of these people together and all of us being able to share some stuff or open up to each other in the chat. It's amazing, like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, I came from the days of dial-up internet, where if someone picked up the phone, they kick you off the web. I don't know how old you are. Yeah, so you remember those days. Like,
oh, yes, I do.
You get the little, you spend an hour and then someone call you at the last minute. You're like, damn it, I just got out of
so close.
I just got out of AOL. Now I gotta go another hour. So, you know, the fact that I get to like meet you and other great people, it really floors me because, you know, almost 20 years ago, we weren't in a place where we could connect with people like this. And now I could just DM you and be like, hey, you want to come on? And, you know, bam, here we are talking. It's astonishing. I think it's one of the best parts that have come from this 2000s clusterfuck. Sorry, but I mean, it really is. From 2015 until now has been a jumbled mess, but I'm glad that we can highlight some of the good stuff. So let me ask you, when you first started your channel, was it started out of depth? For me, I started with like Fantastic Beast and Star Wars, and then I kind of just over time changed the course of my channel as we do. What was your first initial thing that you started with?
Yeah, it was all about narcissistic abuse. And actually it was like just a side thing where I'm like, well, I did Facebook Lives. That's where I started many, many years ago. And I would just upload my Facebook Live to YouTube, not thinking anything of it. And when I started doing Depp information, everything changed. Like everything. It changed how I actually do everything. So, and I am so grateful for the community. I have been in a few different communities throughout my life, and this one is probably the most loving, most caring, most supportive community I have ever been in. And I've been in like narcissistic support communities, and this hands down is just bravo, guys. Like that's all everybody. That's just what we have done as a collective, and it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's weird too, because anyone who's been on my channel, listened to me talk, or heard me talk on other channels, I'm a very abrasive person at times. But I mean, okay, so I came, you know, being in the service, and I'm sure everyone's got someone who's in there. When you come out, you're very straightforward and sometimes too much to the point, and it can throw people off. so to see people come in my chats and show me so much love, it's like there were some points where people were like, "Whoa, you've gone too far. It said this, it said that," but like the way people like can kind of understand what I'm trying to say when I get upset and things like that, because here on YouTube, when I'm legitimately mad about something, it's not an act just for people. I'm like legitimately mad and I have to come on and say what I have to say. So I think it's cool. You're right. You get to express so much and say so much, and this community has so many great people. You know, with Stevie and everybody else who's in here. Gosh, there's 60 of you. I'm sorry if I don't get to everyone.
Oh, hi everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so great to be able to come on and say that stuff. So my next thing that I have to say, or we have to get to, would be, so you were in the narcissistic community, you were covering that. Now, when you first saw this case and you started analyzing it, were you on the fence about who was doing what, or because you have a unique insight, you automatically were able to hone in on what was going on?
Well, let me tell you, in 2016, I saw that that TMZ thing of the original kitchen video, and I saw it and I said, "Damn, Johnny, that's too bad. Not you too. That's too bad." And I went on with my life. I didn't think anything of it. I was just a little disappointed for a hot second and just moved on. Now, move forward to whenever the audios came out. Brian's video ended up in my recommendations, and I thought, well, okay, like I'll just see what this is all about. And listening to it, I was listening to it, and I took myself back to that very specific moment of me sitting in my office watching TMZ, because that's what we do at work, and watching the video and being kind of disappointed in this person that I don't follow. I'm not into celebrity. I don't care about Hollywood. But the fact is, when you grow up with someone like Depp, you feel like it's kind of part of your childhood and whatever it may be. It took me back to that space, and I said, "You have got to be kidding me." And then I got mad because for that one split second, I was disappointed in someone. For that one split second, for what she did with that kitchen video, I was disappointed in someone and it just hit me. And then I started listening some more, and I said, "You've got to be kidding me." So then I don't know if you've ever seen him, Dwayne, over at DSD. We're friends. And we were having a catch up, and we were talking about the audio, and I said, this is it. Like this is everything that we've been talking about for years. This is it. And he's like, "We need to cover this." And I said, "I don't know if I want to," because I was like, I don't even know if people are going to take me seriously for covering Hollywood. Like, that was my thing, because I don't take Hollywood seriously. So how are other people going to take me seriously? But then I had a quick chat with myself and said, no, this is something that's really important. Like, I could not stop listening. I couldn't stop.
And you know what, to your point, you do go through that, because when I started covering, I do movie reviews and stuff, and I fascinated people apparently because I learned a lot about the box office and how numbers work. So when I first started, I'm like, who's gonna want to listen to some angrily angrily rant about movies and how entertainment is dying and stuff like that? So I understand that, Phil. Like you get on and you're like, is anyone gonna even care about what I have to say? But really quick, I wanted to highlight Bella's comment. She said, "Zod, by the way, I was a little intimidated by you, but the amount of kindness plus humanity I've seen in this video has completely changed my perspective on you. Made We love you so much. You're beautiful. Thank you. And by the way, that's a great profile pic, so don't worry about it. I like it. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Bella, we love you.
Oh, oops. I sometimes I highlight stuff, like I'm still getting used to having this many people. So sometimes I'll click on something, I'll be like, hey, shout out at Stevie. I'll be like, oops.
Well, shout out to Soups, to Stevie, to you, I saw Tiffany was here, so shout out to Tiffany. If someone can put Tiffany's link in, that would be fantastic.
Oh yes, one of my mods. Yeah, I had to get more mods. It was interesting. I was doing an unrelated show, and I had someone who's an Amber fan come in and say something. What's up, Rob? And it was like so weird. So I started modding people because I'm like, yeah, I want to make sure we keep this under control, because you know, I would give out wrenches a lot, but then I had people put in stupid stuff, so I had to take them away from some people. So I was a little leery, but everyone here has been great. Alan, what's up? He says, Zod, you can be angry, but if you are also funny with it, that helps. Yes, apparently my anger is funny. I don't know how really to take that. My girlfriend laughs all the time, so there you go.
You know what? That's really all that matters. Keep her happy. If she's happy, that's all that matters. What we think doesn't matter. Hey, Rob. So sorry. Yeah, I saw that Rob's here. Hey, Rob.
Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of collaborations with Rob. He's such a great guy. Speaking of like really nice people, he's one of the nicest people I think I've met. He's like a beam of sunshine. So you got into this. You started following it. You didn't think people would listen to what you had to say, which they apparently have. For you, what was the biggest thing, though? Was it the audio tapes that made you go, oh my gosh, this is like a turning point for me? Yeah. She is a horrendous person. Or was there even more to it? Because,
well, I started to be, I tried to be very on the fence. I tried to go right down the middle. And to be 100% honest, I was on the, like, I even if I wanted to lean a little bit towards Johnny, it wasn't until she called us bots. Then I got mad. I was like, screw you. And so I was like, okay, Amber, you're going to call me a bot. This is what I think about you. Because I was holding back for so long because I didn't want to, I wanted to be as fair as possible. But the entire time in the back of my head, I'm like, she is stirring up things in me that I haven't felt in a long time. And the time that I felt them is when I was married. So we have a problem here. Like, her actions and her words are creating something that reminds me of something that is not cool. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to be 100% honest in how I feel. And that was it. So now it went from, I can't tell you exactly when it was that I was 100% Johnny, but it wasn't long. But I definitely, for the sake of my channel and for my moral compass, I tried to keep it on the fence. But then just one day I just couldn't anymore. My moral compass said, you're going to break if you keep doing this. Like, just speak your truth. Like, now I sound like Amber. Speak the truth. Like, speak how you actually feel and what you actually see and your opinions.
You know, it's amazing that you say that. For me, I remember, Stevie, I'm just going to call out one of our streams for a second. We did a stream on the movie Wolf Creek. And we were talking afterwards, and he was telling me how he was covering this. And I go, you know what? This sounds interesting. I'll look into it and see how I feel. And the more that I dug, my channel, I cover Hollywood in general and how I feel like media manipulation, entertainment manipulation, and then how they're throwing good people under the bus. I've done Kevin Spacey, Chris Pratt, all of these other people in Hollywood who have been victims. But Johnny was the first case where there was a celebrity who stood up for themselves and continues to stand up for themselves, because I cover this case, and I'd be so mad because they retract what they're saying. And why? Because there's this fear of being blackballed, they won't get roles, things like that. But a legacy star like Johnny was like, you know what, I've done all that there is to do. And he finally came out and started speaking up. So for me, when I saw this, I was like, we've got to highlight this because this is a turning point. The media has been spinning a narrative for years now, since like 2015, maybe a little bit sooner than that, that people are, yes, Selby, he was actually thrown under the bus. I'll link you some articles. The people who accused him, one wound up committing suicide because they felt bad over the guilt of saying something that wasn't true. There's an article about that. And one recanted their statement. The case was thrown out, actually. And so it was very fascinating. But the thing is, I mean, with Chris Pratt too, he's been attacked. Gina Carano, all of these stars, just because of what they believe, they've been ostracized and cast out. And then when I saw this Johnny Depp thing, and I saw someone who's sinking this Me Too mentality that they've had, which, by the way, they hijacked, because the movement in itself isn't a bad idea, but the people who are supporting it are terrible people. They're using it for their own financial and or political gain, and to platform themselves. So when I saw Johnny, who was innocent, who had proof, who was fighting this narrative and making the media look like idiots, I was like, wow, there's a lot to this, genuinely. And then I started seeing DB victims. Yeah, Shelby, when I get done, I'll talk to my dad. He's got some links to some articles. I'll send them over to you. It'll be interesting reading. But, Stevie made the dangerous furious thing. I love when they do the emojis. But when I saw this, and I saw that Depp had proof, and Depp had this, like, really, when you look at it, he has a compelling case that has evidence and facts. And here on my channel, I'm all about facts. You can give your opinion, but back it up with fact.
Yeah.
When you see the facts that he has, that Amber, her lawyers, and even certain publications, I'm looking at you, THR, try to discredit. It's great because it breaks this narrative we've been living in since 2015. I remember when Ghostbusters came out and I did a review and said I didn't like it, and all these weirdos came out and go, it's because you're sexist. No, it's because the movie sucks.
Thank
okay.
You.
It's not, I don't like women.
I didn't like it either. What does that make me?
Yeah, I know. There's been women, it's like when women come out and say, that's my curious thing. When women come out and they say they don't believe Amber or they don't like this movie, then are you guys sexist? I want to know, who can tell me what's going on here?
Oh yeah, I've been called many a things. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going with my gut on this one. I'm going with the evidence. I'm going with facts. I'm going with everything. And you can call me whatever you want, but I'm standing with our guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, Jenny Rabb put a good one. She said, I feel bad for these guys who had their career ruined over potentially false claims, like Louis C.K. I love him. I mean, who hasn't done something messed up in their past? And that's the whole thing. And then bringing up Johnny's past, look, we know he probably did some drugs or drank or something like that, but let's be real with each other. Let's just put our cards on the table. That's Hollywood. That culture is nothing new. People have been snorting lines of coke. Y'all remember Studio 54? How many famous celebrities during the 70s and 80s were in places like Studio 54 and things like that? I can list you 1,000 different things, going back. Look at the tragedy of Dean Martin, right? He died because he liked to race. He liked to do whatever it is he does. He got into a vehicle, went overly fast, and we lost one of the greatest actors of all time. Things like this happen. But using that as a way to discredit someone, Amber, what are you doing? You drink. I'm sure you do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting a spotlight on this. There's a lot of I'm gonna be a little blunt here, bullshit double standards that they apply to one person, but they won't apply to, themselves.
Well, I think Amber's problem is that she can't admit that she has a problem. It's quite, and the thing, like, it's not up to me to say she's got a problem, but I think, like, she will never admit it unless we can have people tell us what our issues are all day long, but until we actually hear it, accept it, and kind of admit to ourselves and say, holy crap, I actually do have a problem and I actually do need some help, like Johnny did. He's been in rehab so many damn times within his life. Like the poor guy it just won't stick for him. And exactly, Soups. It does not make you a bad person. There is not one drug addict or alcoholic or someone with an addiction who woke up one day and said, you know what? You know what's going to be a really great life? Addiction. Not a one. It is not something that is chosen. It is not something that we should be looking down on people for. And I think that's what her problem is. I think she's so worried that people are going to think so badly of her that she just can't admit it. And if you can't admit it, then she's just going to keep pointing fingers all over the place.
And I just want to correct my statement. I meant James Dean. Thank you.
I was going to say, I'm a guest. I'm not going to correct.
No, you know what? Here on my channel, if you've ever seen PB on here, he corrects me all the time. I call him my commander and co-host of Late Night Talks, because every so often I'll say something outlandish and it'll be like, what the F, Sod? Really? So so what up, Wookiee Supremacy? Good to see you. No, we're not just talking about celebrity divorces. I know you just came into the discussion. No, we're talking about Johnny Depp with some of the highlights and some of the stuff the media chooses to highlight. But yeah, like I meant to say, James Dean, he had a lot of demons. There was a great movie with Robert Pattinson called Me and Mr. Dean, I believe, or something. And he played an interviewer, and it was about the last day of his life. And it was so fascinating seeing how he lived and stuff like that. He lived a very destructive, devil-may-care kind of thing, but he was young and believed in living his life to the fullest, while he had this fame and success. And see, this is the problem with Hollywood in general. They put so much pressure on these normal people, because actors and actresses are people like us, right? And there's this pressure on them constantly to where they have these destructive outlets, unfortunately. And like so many people said, drinking and drugs and things like that doesn't make the person you are. It can affect certain aspects of your personality, make it good or bad, but it doesn't inherently change who you've always been. So using that as the sole reason to demonize someone is stupid. And especially the people who are calling them out on this. I mean, really, journalists, you want to talk about journalistic integrity now in 2020? Do we really want to go there? THR, who hasn't been relevant for how long now? I mean, let me just ask you something. If anyone in the chat can name me one article you've given a good damn about from THR, I would be highly interested. These guys have been on the celebrity teat for so long that they think that they're relevant, that they think if they take a position, they're going to rub shoulders with the bigwigs, okay? Just because you don't feel important doesn't mean you have to drag other people down to make yourself feel important. That's how I felt about that article when I read it. Like, this woman, like, the lack of self-esteem you must have because you want to tear someone down you don't even know, or you don't want to know both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Let me ask you something about how do you feel like now seeing all of these articles? Have you noticed how a lot of people are in between in this? You have certain people who it feels like they don't want to come off on the wrong side. And then you have some people who already placed their bets on a horse and they're going to ride it to the end. So
Yeah, I think, well, when you nailed it when you said that the Me Too movement was hijacked, and Amber did a great job at hijacking Me Too. And I'm sorry, believe all women? No. Never gonna happen in my world. Ever. I know what women are capable of. No. So the fact is that because Me Too was such a forward step for humans, I don't think it was ever meant to be for women. I don't know how it ever became a thing for women. I don't understand, because we need something for humans, not a specific gender. So the fact is that they don't want to go against that Me Too thing, I feel. So how can you stick with Me Too and then but go against Amber at the same time? It's like, I feel that they just don't know how to navigate that. It's like, well, remove the Me Too portion out of it. Just
All people, yeah.
Yeah,
Why does it
just
gotta
make
be
it
just?
people.
And Caroline, I know my question. I forgot my original designated question. I just go where the conversation takes me, people. I start with a question and I try to kind of expand upon it. I don't know. I'm like, I do the Pocahontas. I paint with all the colors of the wind. Hey, I love that. Okay, don't judge me. Anyways, sorry, I got off track there. But I watch a lot of Disney videos with, or old school Disney with the girl. Anyways, okay, I got on a ramble. But anyways, yeah, the reason why I highlighted the media, I wanted to ask you about that because we've seen so many articles. It's so hard to try to get facts. Let me ask you, because I asked Shelby this, and I wanted to see if your responses were kind of similar. When
Okay.
you go and you investigate a claim or something that comes out, do
Mhm.
you try to dig for everything, or do you go through sources you trust or people in the community that have a good rep for bringing out true statements? What's your way of digging into this?
I dig everywhere. Everywhere. And if I think that I've seen something somewhere, I'm like a dog with a bone. I really am.
Oh,
That if I think I've seen something that goes against what they've said or it backs up what they've said, I will spend as long as need be until I find that damn thing, because I want to see, because there's always a trail. So if you have an article about something, there's always a trail of where it came from. And what I find very interesting is that 9 times out of 10, it's there's like a version of the truth, but it's the version of the truth that has been twisted and turned in so many different ways. So if we just get right back to the original thing that happened, but I am a digger. I will go everywhere and anywhere to find one little thing that will either back up or debunk what they just said. But when it comes to the media, they're they have they I guess they just go where the money is, because what's the better story? Amber's an abuser and a liar, or Depp the Destroyer is this thing that we had no idea. For 57 years, we had no idea he was this guy, and then they've got all the information. So it's a matter of, it's a better story, not
and
realizing the damage they have done. Like, it's just disgusting.
oh, it's astonishing. Really quick, I liked Wookie's comment. Trusting anyone based solely on your genitals is astonishingly stupid. Very to the point, Wookie. Love
Yep,
it.
love it.
And also, anyone who doesn't know, go check out Keely's talk. Yeah, you didn't know I was going to shout you out, Keely, but go check out Keely's channel because she did a wonderful intro that I watched, and there was music and her talking in it. It just soothed a villain's soul. So go check her out and show her some love. But yeah, it's really crazy to me because I've been on the side, and Rob knows because he comes from this universe. I've been on the Star Wars side. And if you guys don't know, we were horrendously attacked as fans. I think the bot thing pissed me off for that too, because I got the same exact treatment. Basement dweller. You can't get a girl, that kind of, and you guys have seen my girlfriend I'm just saying. So, I mean, so, they made us out to be these like, nerds who are sitting back and we hate people and stuff like that. So when I saw this community being attacked, and I've actually seen you guys and seen your faces, I'm like, really, guys, that's what you're running with, the bots thing? It's like the same. It's like they all got the same playbook. Yeah. Whenever they want to demonize people, your Russian bots. She went Russian, which was just absolutely nonsense. And there are all these fake accounts that he created, and none of these people are real. And it's like, no, Amber, they're real. They're pissed. You pissed off real people.
Nailed it. They're real and they're pissed, and that's just it. And are you on that on the bot list? Because what we did notice is that creators are not on that list. And why aren't creators on that list? We got faces. We're real. You can't turn around and say my Twitter account is fake and it's a bot that Johnny created. And let's not forget, Johnny can't use Instagram. Bless him. He can't use Instagram. He's not tech savvy. So how on earth did a man who just started Instagram just last year and is not tech savvy deploy thousands of bots on her? Please.
Oh yeah.
Please. But I think, they were paying attention, because what they did was they took all creators out who have faces and who can stand up and say, you're not doing that to me. There's no way.
Well,
it was a ballsy move. It was a ballsy move. And to still subpoena Twitter for that list, because there's a few on there that I know damn sure are real people. So it's just going to screw her over. I hope they go through with it. It's going to make her look stupid.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I highlighted this on a late night talks, and I had people laughing because Pop Culture PB doesn't follow this whatsoever, has no interest in doing so, because he's following enough things. So I had him on, and I wanted his initial reaction, and we talked about the subpoena, and the first thing he did was laugh so hard and say, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he knows nothing. He knows nothing about this, is why I wanted him on. And it was hilarious, because if someone who doesn't follow it, like him, and their first initial reaction was, "You're subpoenaing Disney." And I wanted to get to this because I want to get your take. But first, there's a portion of it that very few of us have talked about, or maybe people did before I did. But she talked about being held hostage. And I just want to touch on this, because we laughed so hard when I read this in the article, and my friend PB made an excellent point. He said there's a difference between being told to stay in a place because a person is busy and being held hostage are two very different things. And I don't even know what to say about this. Like, did you hear this? Because when I went over, it was into the Madge website, and I went into, and they threw in that bit about her being held hostage, and I go, no, Madonna was held hostage by Sean Penn. She was literally tied up in a chair. That's being held hostage. Amber was just in a place by herself for a couple of days while Johnny did whatever it is he was doing that day.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Is it a three-day hostage situation? Yeah, that it wasn't, well, it was a 3-day, not a hostage situation. And this one is, out of all the incidences, I think I speak for a lot of people who have been with people like her. And the last thing we would ever do is name our incidences like they were TV shows. It's like the Friends, the one with the turkey. It's like, that's exactly what I feel. I feel like, who names their incidences and says that they were brutally and horribly abused? We just wouldn't do that. So anyways, that's my rant about that. But her 3-day hostage situation, she had a phone, she had her laptop. She was able to leave. There was security outside. There was 2 security at the door, and there was 2 security on quads constantly patrolling the property, because, dear God, it was Johnny Depp in that house. They had to make sure he was okay. And She got mad because he wanted to post up. So instead of, and that's when finger incident happened. So she had to quickly make up a situation of why and how he lost a bit of his finger and how it wasn't her fault, but then completely make it seem like she was the one, she's the victim. Everyone needs to feel sorry for her. Like, screw Johnny, screw his finger, screw his face. And don't worry about that over there, but just pay attention to my 3-day hostage situation. And even on the stand, she had to admit it was not 3 days. She was not a hostage. She could have left at any time. She said, I barricaded myself into the bedroom. And the problem is with that bedroom is there was a sliding glass door with stairs leading down. What hostage keeper would allow their hostage to just be able to leave? She had her phone, she had everything. No, I'm sorry. It's just so stupid. Just so stupid. But yet people believe it because they're like, oh, well, Amber was a hostage for 3 days. They actually believe it without actually looking into the situation. And unfortunately, this is how people get away with shit.
Yeah, I mean, I just found that hilarious, and we had a good laugh. And look, the situation isn't funny, but on my late night talks, I like to do like a Johnny Carson thing where we point out stupidity and then mock. So if you guys hear me laughing about something serious, we're not actually laughing. No. We're laughing at this absurdity of the situation. Yeah. So we were sitting there cracking up, and people were laughing with us because it's just like, when you, as a normal, rational human being, which is why I can't understand the support or anyone who supports her. When you think about everything she said from a rational, logical thinking point, you don't even got to take a side. Just step back and use your thinking caps, right? Mm-hmm. If you think about it, everything she says does not make sense or track with everything she says immediately afterwards. Exactly. It's spectacular. It is so spectacular.
That is the best word for it. Just spectacular. That's gold.
Like, no, I mean, honestly, to me, I've heard a lot of liars covering what I've covered. I've covered a lot of I've covered the WWE, and they were sexually abusing younger kids. And on top of that, they had them working. So there's child labor laws in there. Okay. It's a big thing. It's what made me cover this too, because it was kind of like abuse. It's both the same thing. Yeah. And so when I was listening to it and listening to Amber, I go, you should talk to Vince McMahon, because I've heard some stuff from his camp where I could believe what he is saying, even though he's full of crap. I could believe that a lot more than what I'm believing from you. So you need to get a better team of liars together and stop talking, because every time she says something, she sinks her own case. June Harris says the Sun could not even get the dates right. So
no, exactly.
Let's jump into that. Let me just preface this first before I ask my question. The Sun, and pardon my language here, people, but the Sun are the biggest piece of shit I've ever, their paper in general, and I did a story. These bastards were the same people who body shamed Kate Winslet. Go check out my channel, my last late night talks. These people were the same people who called Kate Winslet fat. So I haven't liked them for a long time. They said when she was in Titanic, basically, they called her fat and she needed to lose weight. So she dropped from the scene, and she did a beautiful article on today's website about how she spent years building up her self-esteem again and stuff like this. So keep in mind, these are the same people. Yeah. The biggest thing that mystified me about this case, besides the judge glaring with bias and that he should have recused himself, was that they did not call one person from the Sun to the stand. And everybody points out very contradictorily that, oh, Amber is a witness, but the case isn't about Amber. Remember that? They're like, oh, Amber won, but yet people highlight it isn't about Amber when you press the argument, right? Mm-hmm. So keeping that in mind, how is it the Sun got away with no one from the Sun or the person who wrote the article or anyone being on the stand?
Not a
How does
goddamn
that happen?
clue. I kept asking, where is Dan Wooten? Why aren't they asking Dan Wooten? Where he's the one that wrote the words. Why isn't his ass getting grilled for 5 days about his life from, I don't know, the time he was 11 to now? Why aren't we doing that? And the only answer I ever got was that the son knew that would be like the thing that would bury them. But at the same time, Depp was the thing that buried them, and it still didn't matter. He buried them. Every single thing that Amber or the son put to him, that what Amber said, he blew it out of the water. He always had something to say, no, like she's wrong, she's false. He had more than enough credible witnesses and people not only being paid like on his team, but he had people who no longer work for him. They had people, just the building staff, police. To not believe the police, bitch, please, come on, are you serious?
See, I love it because everyone who comes onto my channel, I feel like I draw out that ability to be able to curse. It's okay to do so, at least on my channel.
Be forewarned.
Carmen said she believes it was because she was the one who leaked the whole thing, I think. But here's the problem with that. I want to explain something because I've had this discussion and I brought a new angle, and this is my angle. This right here was about what no one has brought up yet, slander. And, you know, when you get into amendments, the press has a right to freedom of speech, but whenever they make a declarative statement, and I know this because I was in mass media and communications, I was going to join the press. God, I'm so glad I backed out of that. But when you're in the media, you have a certain rules and guidelines. You can insinuate things, but you cannot outwardly make a claim unless you have facts and a source to back it up. And you need to name the source, or at the very least, they need to be able to track it down if you've got to prove it. If you've ever go back through and read any article, if they accused someone of something, it's been very vague and alluded to, showing instances of backing up what they're saying, but they don't come out and call the person. Where the Sun did something heinous was they labeled Johnny Depp in a paper that is read by tons of people. Yeah. So the whole thing is about slander. You cannot directly insult someone. As a publication, you have a journalistic integrity you're supposed to uphold where you don't directly take a position. And that is where the problem becomes in, because then you are inherently biased. So them calling him a wife beater is a direct attack on his character. They're not stating a situation. There is no hard evidence to prove what they're calling him. So when you label something and you put it in the freaking cover on page 1, that is an issue. You're attacking a man's credibility and you're attacking a man's name to a paper, and you know the man lives in entertainment. This is detrimental to anybody who's an actor. So when you directly label someone, you have declared someone something you can't prove. There's no proof anywhere in that article. They don't name a source. They don't name an incident. They don't even date their dates right.
Yeah.
So you basically slandered someone. That's what it was. And slander is illegal.
That's right.
You can't do that. You can't do that. That's the biggest thing that pissed me off, is everyone, including the media, got away from what the real reason is. It's not Amber's testimony. The case is slander against a man. It's slandering a man's reputation with no evidence whatsoever. None. I still have yet to have any of these jerks provide a shred of proof as to why they think he's this thing, which tells me your paper's full of shit.
Well, exactly. He did no follow-up, because here's the thing. I can say, I say horrible things about Soups. She's this, she's that, and I label her a some horrible things. I go tell Bella. Bella's a journalist. Bella writes it up. Bella, guess what Bella's going to do? She's going to go to Soups. And she's going to say, this is what it is. And Soups has a chance to defend herself and say, no, Les, no, she's lying. And then it's up to Bella to do her investigation. It's not up to Bella just to take my word for it and say, okay, Les, I trust every single thing that comes out of your face. Because it's just, how is Dan Wooten still working and still getting a paycheck when Johnny has lost multiple roles from this? The man who destroyed him is still working, and yet Depp, I just don't understand how this was able to get so damn far, because one guy, I don't know, maybe he saw a pretty face and he said, how could this pretty face be lying? And it's believe all women and it's Me Too. I don't understand how we got here, but we're here. And the fact is, right after the verdict, it was like 2 minutes later that the son was calling him a wife beater once again. You can't do that because he still hasn't been charged. Still hasn't been charged. You would not believe how many people I've actually corrected when they've said, well, he's a wife beater. I'm like, he hasn't been charged. They said, yeah, he just went to court for it. I'm like, no, that's not what that was. Like people are still convinced that was him being up on criminal charges, not him taking them to task.
Yeah. The spin has been ridiculous. I love what Wiki said. He said, how about justice for every guy slandered by some vindictive psychopath that got away with it because they owned a vagina? That asking too much. Johnny will do. We don't need to bash women, right? That's true, Wookie. That is so true, because that's why so many guy DV victims, that Stevie has had on and everybody else. It's Wookie hit the nail on the head. It's when it's this thinking of just because it's a guy, they're automatically wrong. And look, it should not be that way for either side. Just because it's a woman, they're wrong, or just because it's a guy, they're wrong. Yep. If you really care about being having gender equality, then anybody should be questioned for what they say when they make an accusation that serious. This shit destroys people's lives, and people throw around and play with it like it's something that isn't serious. And here's the thing. People's careers, their jobs, their livelihoods, their families get destroyed over this stuff. That's why it's important, because someone whose innocence reputation is being dragged through the mud over something that's coming out and it's total nonsense, total hogwash, total shenanigans. Yeah.
And that's just it. And the thing is, I have more male clients than I do female clients, and I always have. I've always have. And it's an honor that they trust me with all of this that they're dealing with. But there is definitely a need. There is a need for education. There is a need for understanding. There is a need for equality. And I don't even know where to start, but there is a goddamn need. We need to get out of our archaic thinking that women are damsels in distress, because we're not.
Oh yeah, when I was in the service and dating around, because at the time I didn't want to be held down. If anyone's ever been in there, you can't have a great relationship because of all the traveling and things you do. And I remember dating this one girl, and she threw pots and pans at me. Like I was dodging kitchenware, and this was just a verbal disagreement. And my mom raised me, you don't put your hands on a woman no matter what the situation. So I would, my girlfriend's laughing in the background, but I would never do that because of the type of person I am. But there's a lot of guys who have the same thinking that I do. And we will literally take being hit and stuff thrown at us because, you were raised, hey, you don't hit a woman. You should treat them with respect, even if it's an extreme situation. You take yourself out of that. And when I heard Johnny walking away from stuff, it kind of got to me, because I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. I wouldn't engage with someone and put myself in the line of fire, especially with Me Too and all this going on. I don't want to place myself in a situation where someone can bring this back at me. So I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. And you can hear it in the tapes, him wanting to walk away from an argument. And, you know, it's just astonishing to me how that could be misconstrued as anything else but how it sounds. And here's the thing, son, they had pictures, they had audio. We always say, what's the one thing people want? They want audio and they want video. And he had both. And the fact that they could ignore both of these things simultaneously, you know, when you make the connection that it's rigged with like Musk and everyone else and all those clowns, there's got to be truth to it. Because I cannot for the life of me understand how any judge, any censorable judge with a good moral compass could look at facts and evidence, witness statements, testimony, and hard physical proof and say, no, she's gotta be on the up and up, because, you know, Amber.
Pretty blunt thing. Just she's telling the truth. This guy over here. And just the fact that, you know, it bothered me when it was 5 days of Was like hounding him about his drug use. And I don't know if she thought that she was like shocking the world or anything, but we're like, come on, like let's get to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. Like, yeah, it's a shame that he's got this addiction, but it's not the issue at hand. We are not talking about Johnny and the Whitey stuff. We're not talking about Johnny and the furniture. We're talking about Johnny and his alleged whatever. And I just feel that this judge has a hate on for anyone that has an addiction, which sucks, because now what it's done is this verdict has, within the court system, has labeled drug addicts as automatically bad.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, Les.
That's not right. That's not, just because someone's not even an addict, say someone who just enjoys using, that's their own personal choice, and it doesn't make them a horrible person. It doesn't make them a bad person. It makes them a person with the right to make a decision for their own life. That's all that is.
We all have flaws. Look, I picked up, I had to be careful with my drinking, because when I got out and everything I went through, you develop coping mechanisms, unfortunately, and it's not an excuse and it's not a reason, but I had to slow it down and stuff like that, because I saw this pattern. Like when we were in, we all drank constantly, nonstop. And it's to cope with something that's happening in our personal lives. And it doesn't make me a bad person or anyone I served with a bad person. It makes them a flawed human being who is using something, unfortunately, as a crutch to try to get their mind off of these terrible things that are happening within their life. And that doesn't make them bad. That makes them human. It makes them a person. It makes them a flawed individual, which the media forgets exists, apparently. But shine a light in their back door, and let's see how many skeletons we pull out of there. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Matt Lauer was locking people in his room in his little like media dungeon he had going on. And these are the same people who want to.
My issue is my issue is that they painted. They paint the user in such a manner, but we don't know what it's like to be in that situation. Like, I don't know if I grew up in Depp's shoes, would I have also had the same outcome of addiction? Would I have handled it just the same way? We just don't know how we would have handled it if we were in those shoes. So to judge and point fingers and pretend that we're better than the person in front of us is just ridiculous. It's just so stupid.
And by the way, we have 90 people watching. Good God, thank you, everybody. Like 90 people are interested in what we have to say. So you're all breathtaking. That's my best Keanu Reeves. Mike Moon says, and a great question here, do you think Dan the Son and AH made a deal so she'll testify instead of him coming to say his bit in court. She wasn't needed, and she fought to be there, and not even a reason why Dan wasn't. So that's a great question. What do you think?
Well, it is very well. She did fight to get there. I forget which statement it's in, but it's in one of her statements where she's like, I want justice to prevail, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in the UK, and don't worry, blah, blah, blah. She wanted to, she had to be there. I think it's disgusting that she was allowed in the courtroom to listen and record and do whatever she was doing within it when Johnny was on the stand. But she wanted to be in the same room with him one more time to say, look what I did. All of this is me. All me. I ruined everything. I ruined your life. And she just wanted to make sure that he knew that she was still kicking around. She's not going to go anywhere. So the fact that Dan wasn't there is just disgusting. I feel that Johnny didn't have the chance to look the guy in the eye who did this to his life and say kind of like, a fuck you. He didn't even get that chance.
And that's a very well put point. And I'm sorry, when off camera there, I had to tell my wonderful woman I love her. But no, yeah. My whole thing with this is that with a case, you should be able to go and, like you said, face your accuser. And the thing that struck me about this was it was like a dog and pony show. And there was, to me, no getting down to what the actual case was about. And I've said it on Rob's stream. I think it's ridiculous that right from the get-go, there's a lot of good evidence to the contrary that this was rigged, because when you think about the law and how it is, and I'm a big proponent of it because of what I did, when I'm doing stuff for other countries, right, I am helping them uphold their law. But here in the US or in the UK or wherever else, the criminal justice system is for civilians. It's for you guys to have somewhere to go to fight out your disputes, because, military and government shouldn't interact on that level, right? So when you have a judge and they have guidelines and they are not supposed to get personally invested in something, right away, when there's connections between your defendant and the other party, right, you should automatically be recusing yourself, because then, just like it is right now, it comes out that you have a personal bias. Even if you call the case down the middle, your credibility is going to be called into question because of the fact that you are supposed to. What up, Glare? Good to have you here. Thank you. You are supposed to be a non-biased person proceeding. You are not supposed to care it's Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, or the Sun. You're supposed to be there for the facts and the truth. And if you already have a connection to the people who are defending themselves, then you can't, in good conscience, be a fair and partial judge. And that's what it comes down to. In my mind, this case was tainted as soon as it came out that he had a connection to anyone, whether it be Musk, the Sun, whatever. If they have connections to someone he has connections to, then you should have stepped down. That you can't be on the level if you are personally invested.
Yeah. And now, do you think, because I'm pretty damn sure that Shoreborn knew this connection, and like Depp's lawyers are pretty incredible. Like Benchu and Waldman and Shoreborn are all pretty incredible. And Ms. Laws did a kick-ass job in UK. But do you think they saw this and said, even though there's obviously some conspiracy going on here with the connections, we're going to still go through with it, because if this goes sideways, we got them. What does that FBI agent say? We got them by the balls, ladies and gentlemen. Like, they got them. And the judge should have recused himself. He should have stepped down. And if he wasn't going to step down, at least he could have done a better job at writing a verdict that wasn't just useful for toilet paper. Like, it could have been useful for so many other things, but unfortunately, that's what I'm using it for.
I think what makes this interesting is, and I don't want to speculate what Johnny's team was thinking, but I think that they went in knowing that if they just played the trial out, because, okay, I know a tad bit about the law, but I know enough that when you're bringing something up against a newspaper, especially the media in general, the deck's stacked against you, because they can pull the freedom of press, all of this other nonsense that they do. There's constitutional amendments that protect their right as journalists. So you're already going into a pretty much losing battle. But I think when they did their work and they saw that this judge was presiding, and they went about doing what they were supposed to do, they did the right thing, they presented their evidence and stuff like that. I think when they started seeing it go south, I don't think they were worried, because I think Walton planned on, or Wooten, right? Wooten? Is it Wooten?
Wooten.
Yeah, I think Wooten planned for what was going to happen, because it's awfully suspicious that he took himself off of the team and started leaking these things. I think it was a brilliant strategic play on his behalf to be like, because when he stepped off of the fence, I noticed a lot of people was like, what's going on? What's happening? And then later you see him get on Twitter and he starts leaking these documents. Well, as
Waldman.
a lawyer.
Waldman,
Yeah.
not Wooten, sorry, Waldman. Well, I don't think he's leaking. I don't think he's leaking, because if it was leaking, he would have to go somehow backdoor.
Well, releasing.
Just dropping bombs.
Well, we'll say releasing. Okay?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: as his lawyer, he wouldn't be able to do that, because it'd be a conflict of interest to the case. So by him stepping away was brilliant, because now he can take these documents out that he has, and he's no longer constrained by the law, because he's not technically representing. He just happens to have this information that if parties say it's cool for him to release, they can. Of course, they're going to say, go ahead. So I thought that was a brilliant strategy, because it allows him to bring stuff to the public that otherwise the legal team by law can't, because their Amber Heard is protected. But this guy who's no longer on the team, he's not conflicted with anyone. He could just be like, oh yeah, here's another document, here's another thing, and then let the people decide. I think it's brilliant, because what he's done now is he's used Amber's own strategy against her, right? She wanted to win in the court of public opinion, and Johnny has flipped it now, and he's using the public and just bringing the facts out to debunk everything she's saying. And this has put her on the offense. Look at everything that she's bumbled. She's off balance right now. It's clear she's off balance, because her
okay, no shade, but was she ever on balance?
I mean, there was a point where even media outlets could defend her, but after the charity thing dropped, I think that for me was the beginning of the end, and I want to get to that. The charity thing for me was the biggest blunder that I've ever seen an attorney do for anyone ever. I laughed so hard when that statement first came out, and I go, do you realize how badly you just sunk your whole entire case? You just destroyed everything that you've spun. So now Amber's off balance. The attorney's off balance. Everybody's scrambling. Media outlets, she can't run for cover for them, because they look at this and go, well, how the hell are we going to spin this? The facts are there. The papers are there. You haven't donated. We can't defend you on that. Then they're going to attack us.
And the thing is, the amount of articles and the amount of times that she even said out of her own face, I donated $7 million. I donated. I wanted nothing. She wanted tons. But I also noticed that publications about her carrying carrots and riding her horse and going for a walk with her water bottle. A, no one gives a shit, but B, those stopped when Waldman started to drop his bombs. Those completely stopped. So the fact is, when she can't buy her way into page 6, because now they're like, well, we can't do this. We've supported you and we've had your back for this long because you keep telling us that you donated this money only to find out that you're not, only to find out that you weren't without a car for 3 years, only to find out that it wasn't a 3-day hostage situation, only to find out that quite possibly none of this happened and it was actually you. She's got nothing. And let me tell you, and I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, she did not want to be called a gold digger, and rightfully so. What woman does, what man does. But at the end of the day, I would gladly take the gold digger label over what she just, over her current set of situations. I would have gladly taken the label and just walked away. I was like, fine, if that's what you think of me, that's fine.
Yeah, because that would have been the best defense. And Jen Rab put out a good point, said, oh my God, right, how many media outlets did she run telling about she donated and wanted nothing, but now comes out and said she meant to pledge. Yeah, exactly. And this is the biggest thing, because I presented this to my friend PB, who once again has no vested interest, and he started laughing. He goes, wow. Just like, so anyone who's even not in the know, when you hear something about donations and charity, and then you hear that the person's not donating, that's a pretty big thing to come out with. And hold on a second, I'll be right back. Take that away for 1 minute.
Okay, I'm in charge. How is everybody? Oh, I can't highlight. Well, this sucks. Wildcard says there was a positive article for JD and negative for Amber. Ooh, on Twitter today. The money in the excuse they used being BS. Well, the thing is, like, now she's trying to like spin it that she used the word pledge. No, she said, I wanted nothing. I donated the entire amount. Her exact words. So now that she's trying to say, and to use the excuse, like, come on, guys, to use the excuse where I needed the money to defend myself against Johnny. Well, she couldn't have possibly known that he was going to turn around and sue her ass years later. There is no way she could have known that unless she is so conniving and so sneaky and so used to people kind of catching her out on her antics and her bullying and everything that she does in life, that she's like, you know what? I've done so many horrible things to this man. I called the cops on him and nothing happened. I wrote up 14 I have these incidents, wasn't 14, it was 3 at the time when she did a TRO. Like I blackmailed him to get the 7 million. Something could happen. Like maybe I do need to protect myself. Maybe I do need this money in my back pocket just in case. But I also don't think that she thought that he was ever going to fight back, because he's not a fighter in that sense. He's not.
Yeah.
So she just didn't see this coming. And I love that moment in that audio where he's done. When he said, you don't want to play nice, see you in court. And it was all, and all she did was accuse him of leaking sensitive information that he didn't. And his reaction tells me he didn't. And her reaction tells me she knew she went too far. She pushed him way too far. You can only push a person so far before they finally say, okay, you know what? Screw you. Let's dance.
And it was awesome because KH brought up a good point and said on the live TV interview in the Netherlands, she said she donated the money between 2 charities, the CHLA and the ACLU, which yeah. And here's the thing stars seem to forget nowadays, and it's what sinks everyone. We are living in a different world than, say, 10, 15 years ago. Everything you do, even if it's in another country, everything you say is documented and it's out there forever. Whether or not you scrub everything, you don't scrub everywhere. The thing, someone somewhere has clipped something, they've got a hold of something. The media is never really gone. Right. So when you come out and you make these statements, especially with stars, you have to be particularly extra careful because it is out there forever. And by the way, we have 92 people watching. Thank you for joining me. I think 95 at one point. Jeez.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love you guys. Thank you. And shameless promotion. If you like General Zod, go check out my Teespring. Every out of everything you purchase, $1 of it goes to helping kids around the globe to eat and things like that. I think particularly with the face masks. So go check it out. The link is in the description. Shameless plug out of the way. Anyways.
Nice. Nice. On the walk. I'm gonna go check it out once we're done too. So I have a question for you. I know this is your interview, but I'm gonna turn the table.
You're turning the tables on me, Les. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I've never had anyone turn the tables on me.
Well, let me turn the tables. So Stevie said it's been a long time coming, but she will be completely exposed for her lies. She deserves to be in prison. Absolutely. Time for so many things, including perjury. Do you think she's going to actually go to jail for perjury? Because she perjured herself in Australia. She perjured herself in the UK. And she's walking into a massive perjury in VA. She's already perjured herself. She can't change the story when it comes to VA. She can't change her story, but she changed it in the UK. So she's walking into the lion's den. Do you think that they're actually going to uphold this perjury thing? Because as far as Lost Beyond Pluto was saying, that perjury hardly ever gets upheld, which is stupid, because why do we even have laws if we're not going to do anything with them? Like, if it's a pointless law, get rid of it. And if we're not holding it up, then why are we just assuming that as soon as someone puts their hand on a Bible that they're going to tell the truth? Why are we assuming that?
Oh gosh. Well, here's my thought, and I responded to this on Twitter, and I'm just going based on everything that I've seen in my life, which I saw OJ get away with murder. And I'm sorry if you guys are on the opposite side of the fence. He did it. But here's what happened.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. I'm sorry. I can't slander anyone allegedly. But here's the thing. He had a brilliant team of lawyers at the time. He had Johnny Cochran, the man, the myth, the legend. So he was able to spin this traumatic story. And if you guys haven't seen it, go check out that FX special they did with the trial. It was so enlightening to see. Oh my God, the way they dropped the ball was spectacular. But with this, it's a little bit different because, like you said, Amber Heard has submitted testimony that could be wrong. But here's the thing. With accusations like perjury, it's on the stand. So even if she recants what she says and words differently, if she doesn't tell a lie on the stand at the time, it won't be considered perjury. They'll throw out her previous statements, and they can be amended. So there's a lot of different, if she has a smart legal team, which she doesn't apparently, but they would go back through and be like, we'd like to amend this, and jigger around this. There's ways to navigate it. But now here's the issue. Why she's not being brought up on perjury charges in other countries, that's the bigger question, because in Australia she lied, and in the UK she lied. If they so chose, she's on record. She's like on record on the stand. They could go after her. But then you have the international laws, and that's where it gets sticky, because they'd have to, like, I don't know if it's extradite or subpoena or something, whatever the is to get her back there. She'd have to go back there and be tried by their court. And that's where you have a real issue when it comes to international laws versus, U.S. laws. It gets kind of hairy trying to, bring someone back. Like, if you leave a country, then they have to put in extradition. They have to put in proof of why they're bringing you back. And then you have to come back. Right. And then they have to try you in their court again. And then they got to get a ruling. By the time we see any of this from other countries, it'll be years before they can drag it out. And her legal team can drag it out for years before they get any real traction. That's the shame part. Now in VA, if she comes in and she's not careful with her statements, she will be done for it. She will be in handcuffs, because if she comes out and says anything on the stand that Johnny's team can jump on, oh boy. Oh boy. And this judge is not messing around. I love this guy. Hearing his statements, he does not seem like a guy who's going to let you know, things just go. So if she perjures herself in the U.S., absolutely, I believe that she can get called up. But Jenny Rabb, just like with the fake bruises, look, I want her locked up as much as anyone. But unless you could directly prove that I mean, I know I've seen pictures of that same day and everything else, but they can discredit that. They can call it hearsay, rumors. Someone took a picture without my knowledge, all the Hollywood things that they do. Mm-hmm. What we need is something solid, outright lied on the stand. And I know Johnny's team's going to be going that route. And if you're Amber's team, you're going to be going the route of making sure whatever she testifies to, it is the truth. Because if it gets called out in this court, oh boy, she's looking at just more than her rep taking a hit at that point.
Now, the problem is that she, Lost Beyond Pluto said that everything that she said in the UK is locked and loaded. She can't change anything.
So if they retry it, oh my God, if they retry it.
Even for VA, like what she said about the incidences and what she said happened within their relationship, it's locked. She can't change it when it comes to VA. Because how can you have two different versions of your relationship in two different sets of court? It's already on record. So now she has to take the UK and take it over to VA, but it doesn't add up with what she said in her initial VA statements. Like she screwed herself. And now that Waldman is just dropping those bombs left, right, and center, she's screwed. She's screwed. If she even shows up for court, I'd be highly, highly surprised. I wouldn't show up for court if I was her.
I mean, at this point, the smartest thing, hey, Jamie Vick. I'm sorry, I always get happy. Jamie Vick's like one of my oldest subs. She's been with me for a long time, and I'm going to highlight that for a second. But before I get to this comment, the one thing about this case is if I was them, I wouldn't put her on the stand. I would do everything in my power to make sure she doesn't take the stand, because at that point, you're officially under oath, and anything, like you said, they can then trip her up with those past statements, and then she'll have to backtrack because anything she says that's a lie will be perjury under the law, and so that'll put her in an awkward position. So if I was the attorney, I would try my damnedest not to even have her approach a stand. Just keep her in the background and fight amongst the lawyers, because you know, if they call her up as a witness, God help us, it'll be entertaining. Jamie Vick says it'll be entertaining watching her be caught in lies. But Jamie Vick says, what I don't understand is why feminist groups don't go after her. Yep, she has sent them back 20. Exactly. Yeah. I agree, Jamie Vick. I would think the Mary Sue would be right on top of this. Mary Sue, yeah, I'm looking at you. I saw what you said about me about my Captain Marvel review. That's a great point, Jamie Vick. I'm wondering where all these feminist activists have been who talk about everything else, but apparently they don't talk about someone destroying their little rallying cause here. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, because if they're taking the UK stuff and then they're taking any statements she's amended and they're mashing them together, I gotta be honest, it's going to be a hell of a case to see, because I don't think her counterclaim is going to go through. I think that's going to be like dropped right away. If I was Johnny, I'd almost get more. I don't think it for him is about the money, but I think at this point I'd go for more money, because she cost him work and everything else like that. Like,
well, and that's the thing. He's suing over the amount of money that he would have got for Pirates. Fair enough. But then she turns around and she's got this 100 million bullshit thing but she needs to also prove that she is worth 100 million. Okay, I accept and I concur that Depp is worth 50 million for a movie all day long. All day long. Her, she's dreaming. She's in crazy land if she thinks she is worth 100 million because she lost her role in Aquaman.
Which she didn't, which that baffles me, because she didn't. I've been following that. So, I mean, to say you did is just ridiculous. Kamikaze Cobra, what's up? He's a old subscriber of mine. He says, so when am I doing a review on American Skin? I'll check it out for you, Kamikaze. Bring you something for you to enjoy. And Claudia B says, at General Zod's Fandom Zone, yes. As a lawyer, I would do everything to avoid getting her on the stand. See, that's what I think the best defense at this point is going to be.
Claudia, a lawyer?
Yeah, she said, yes, as a lawyer, I would do. Claudia,
Claudia, we got some questions.
Because, you know, Claudia, just to let you know, if Zod gets any legal troubles, I might hit you up. I got some stuff pending in France and Mexico. Long story, I won't get into those, but anyways, let's just say I'm never allowed back there. But anyways, yeah, you know, apparently the French government doesn't like it if you try to climb the Eiffel Tower after a drunken day with no clothes on. Funny and true story. I didn't make it that far up, but it was quite a day. So there you go, 90 people. You're welcome. You get a funny story.
Wow. I need more of that story. I'm intrigued. So Shelley said, but if she asks for more, then people start scoffing that JD is too full of himself, and there is enough bad press already that people buy into it still. Yeah, and Stevie said that they can also, like, the jury can also like tack on extra money for Johnny if they feel it's warranted. So that's nice. But again, it's not about the money for him. It's about his kids. It's about clearing his name for his kids and clearing his name. So when he leaves this planet, that he's not leaving behind the legacy of like his life now, of what he's being labeled. He wants to be vindicated. And of course, we can't just go around saying that people did something when they didn't. We can't do it. But unfortunately,
no.
People just don't understand.
I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. If this UK decision doesn't get overturned, and if for some spectacularly unknown reason he loses VA, for me that would be a failure of the justice system, because the law is supposed to be blind. When you go into the courtroom or the courthouse, you see the scales and the lady with the blindfold, right? For me, it was always a powerful thing, because everything that I stood for, everything that I've seen people die for defending this great nation of ours, is law. And if we violate the law, if we let it become perverse or let people buy the law, then we really do have moral anarchy and chaos. If someone can win and they're proven to be a liar, that sets a very dangerous precedent. And I've heard so many people from like the UK and stuff, because I talked to people from the UK, say how they felt so shocked and appalled, and it made certain people feel in the UK like, if Johnny can't win, what chance do I have? That's a terrible thing to set for your country. That's a terrible precedent to set for all those poor people who, they have issues, they have things going on with DV, and they look to this to be a template for them getting justice. And then you see this man get screwed over with all this evidence, and you're looking going, well, if Johnny Depp lost, like, what chance do I have? What chance as a normal Joe Blow do I have? It sets a dangerous precedent. That's why, you know, when people ask me, they go, why do you care about Johnny Depp? It's two celebrities fighting. No, it's about the principles of law and order. And if people who are famous are allowed to get away with lies, then people who aren't famous don't stand a chance of getting a fair and legal representation. If we lose that part of ourselves, then we just might as well hand it in as a society, because we've lost what makes the US great. That's what's supposed to set us apart from everybody else. And if we fall into that pattern, then good God, Les, I mean, that sets a very bad precedent for everybody else.
Yeah, and you know what? And not only is it men turning around saying, if Johnny can't do it, because that's the thing. That's what they're saying. They're saying if Johnny doesn't get a fair shake, I don't have. I'm just gonna shut up and I'm just gonna sit in my corner. But do you know what else is doing? It's giving people, and I'm just gonna use the term people, the go ahead to do this to other people and demolish their lives in such a way. It's giving permission. It's opening the door for more of this to happen.
Exactly. How many abusive assholes are in this world that use fear tactics and even the law against their abuser, and they get to walk away?
Yep, they love using the law.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it makes me sick. I can't stand people like that. Jamie Vick said he lost more than just money from pirates. He also lost Fantastic Beasts. True, I covered that. And who knows what other opportunities that would have come his way. Exactly. Because Hollywood did their thing they do, and they ran out to blackball him before getting all the facts. That's going to be spectacular, by the way. The other part that I love covering about this is I can't wait to see the look on all these stupid people's faces when they realize he's innocent and they got to recant him. And all of a sudden, Warner Bros. Backed the wrong horse on this. And I love DC, guys. You see the name. You see the background. I love DC. But what Warner Brothers has done to my beloved franchise, and what they've done to the actors and actresses involved, and what they continue to do is disgusting. And, Disney has an out, because Disney is a little bit different. Now they look even better with her subpoenaing them. A lot of people are going to be more forgiven, because they're going to be like, oh, wait, they dragged Disney into it. And Disney's response was great. It was, by the way, look, we never touched on that. What did you think she subpoenaed them about? Like, talk about career suicide. If nothing else, people, I'll tell you right now, Iger got on the phone. Me and Pop Culture PB talked about this. We were like, I'd love to be the fly on the wall. Iger is a shrewd prick. Whether you like or hate him, he does not like attacks. And you pissed off one of, right now, the most powerful entities in the world. Okay? Disney, I always joke, they're going to take over the world, right? You just pissed off Disney, their entertainment. And what baffles me was they were talking to her about roles. So now you bit the hand that was getting ready to feed you. I mean, do you have, what do you think the logic was behind this? Like, do you have any clue?
I think
what the play was here.
Honestly thinks that everyone, I'm convinced that she has always just kind of gotten away with things in her entire life, where people are like, oh, it's okay, Flower, you're such a pretty little thing. We're going to take care of it. Don't you worry. So I don't know if, because Disney was in talks with her, whether that's true or not. I don't know whether, if Disney was in talks with her, she thought, aha, if Disney's looking at me, then they're going to back me up, and they're going to tell me that Johnny destroyed his own career and had nothing to do with me or my actions. But she's not realizing that when you bring your almost employer into your personal disaster, they don't look kindly on that. I would certainly never hire someone who had subpoenaed me. I would be keeping my distance, thinking what kind of, what's next in your life. She's showing her all her cards to all of the big production companies. And if she's not done today, she is done soon. She's done soon, because no one's going to want to work with her, because they're going to say, well, look what she brings to the table. She doesn't even bring good acting to the table. She brings a face, she brings a body, and she brings subpoenas.
And I mean, here's the thing that's spectacular about this. When you look at these two companies, they've been under fire. Disney has had issues with Star Wars and things like that. They're entrenched in a major war over that right now. They've had some big missteps with their parks and things like that, and they're going to war with Netflix. So right now, Disney has their own shit going on, and they're trying to recruit people that are going to make their image look better, right? They want to get more actors to be like, Disney's the greatest, right? So when you take that and look, poor Kevin already has Bree, which I'm sure he did not know what that was going to come with. And if you know, she shut her mouth quite a bit. Actually, that's pretty hilarious. Like, I've seen the comparisons now, and the person who's loving this the most is Brie Larson. Like, see, there's someone worse than me. But anyway, so, you know, you have people like that you're defending, and you've got this push for, what they've been pushing for with their SJW woke nonsense that they think is making them money. So they're dealing with their own crap. And Warner Bros. Has already contracted her. So they're locked in a contract till whenever it runs out. So they've got to take the fire. But Disney doesn't have to. And when she did that, I go, oh my God, because Iger has voices with every studio. You think just because he's rivals, think about all the people he can tank her with. He's with Sony because of the Spider-Man. So he'll make a call to Sony and be like, yeah, just so you know, this chick subpoenaed me. So if you got any projects you were considering for her, don't, right? He could call up all of these people he's got on speed dial, and she's not going to be able to work with anyone. And by comparison, when he looks at Johnny, who didn't bring them into his argument, right? He's been a class act this whole time. He could have brought all of these people, but he said, nope, I'm just going to let my evidence speak.
Yeah.
Well, now, if you look, Warner Bros. Is making that new Beetlejuice. They're considering it because they want Tim Burton, right? Mm-hmm. Disney has some shows that they're working on that they're considering for Depp. A lot of people behind the scenes right now are seeing where the tide's going. And it's not being in public domain. They're not weighing in, but you're slowly seeing these deals coming for Johnny. And I haven't seen Amber getting anything coming her way. The Stand epically failed. I mean,
well done, everyone, on that one. Well done.
Oh yeah, I got to be honest. Okay, so I get CBS All Access for free. I mostly got it for that horrendous show Picard, so that I can tell you how horrendous CBS All Access trash is. But when I saw The Stand, I was going to review it, but then out of respect for what I'm doing, I decided, no, I'm not going to give her any more clout. I won't review an episode, but I can tell you, folks, unfortunately, Amber isn't the biggest problem with that show. It's
that's surprising.
Everything. Oh yeah, it's everything in that show. They do confusing flashbacks. They are so off the story. It's just a mess to begin with. And the sad part is they dragged a lot of good actors into it. But here's the thing. A lot of these people are going to stop working with her. Mm-hmm. And if we don't get any justice as far as having her arrested, just know when she subpoenaed Disney, she killed her career. It's going to be done. If she doesn't win this, she's done in Hollywood. She better bank all the money she can right now, because nobody is going to work with her after this. Absolutely nobody.
I hope she tanks it into Tesla stock. I really do, because A, that would be epic if she tanked it into Tesla stock. And B, she's screwed. She is absolutely, there's no coming back from this. People remember. That's the thing. We may forget for a little bit. We may forget. And I'm not saying we're going to forget what happened to Johnny. We're not going to forget what we fought about, but we're not going to forget what she did. Like, we may down the line in like 10 years say, oh yeah, remember when she did that? And she can't come back. She can't come back because there's no coming. It's not like a Robert Downey Jr. or something like that, where you win the hearts of people again. She fucked herself.
Oh yes, at Wildcard, I have watched the part where the characters die. Yeah, the acting is atrocious. You got James Marsden, who's a fantastic actor. I've been following him since the show on HBO. Why is it eluding me now with the robots? Westworld. I watched his great acting from Westworld, and he took Sonic and made that thing like a masterpiece, like him and a CGI hedgehog. I said, there's no way he can act. He proved me wrong. I thought he was actually better than Jim Carrey, to be honest with you. But like, yeah, I mean, the guy's a tremendous actor, but he's so wasted on this show. And this is a condition to CBS. CBS is trash. Don't get all access. I'm sorry, CBS, come at me. I don't care. You're trash. Your whole station is trash. There's like, they destroyed Twilight Zone. They destroyed a bunch of stuff. So I wasn't surprised they got Amber Heard to tank the rest of their crappy lineup. But I'm sorry, I have no love for them. I've always thought CBS was garbage to begin with, but when they went streaming, I had some hope when they got some big names, and I'm like, no, you're just killing more things I love. Thank you. But but yeah, see, and this is great too, because I wanted to get your opinion. I know you covered a lot about the Johnny and things like that, but in your opinion, I focus my channel on all aspects of entertainment. And what do you think about, let's just to put it in the trendy kid terms, this woke culture? Do you think that Amber Heard is a big product and really shows with the way that everything has gone in entertainment, this push for diversity, destroying things we grew up with, that kind of thing? Do you think this is all a symptom of that thing we've seen the past couple of years?
The thing is, I don't think I'm a good judge of character because I don't follow Hollywood. I don't I don't watch. I don't have cable. I don't watch TV. Like it's if I do watch, it's like a Netflix or something like that, and I just don't pay attention. So I don't think I'm a good judge of character on that one. I'm sorry. I have no comment.
No,
I haven't been paying attention. Maybe I will start to pay attention, but yeah.
Because as someone who's followed entertainment my whole life, I even worked in a movie theater. I've loved entertainment, but I've noticed this trend. And it's why I followed Amber Heard, because it's this trend of pushing agendas and dividing audiences based on supposed gender equality, diversity kind of a thing. And I felt like within our society now, they've created more of a war between these people they're supposedly trying to promote by pointing it out. And it's done in every piece of media. And I feel like Amber Heard and all of these other people who you hear these cases of, they're symptoms of them creating this divide. Like they want to promote togetherness. But at the same time, I feel like they're dividing togetherness because they're specifically pointing out things about people, what race they are, what gender they are, what sexual orientation they are. And I think that this Amber case stems from a lot of things they've been fostering for years now. It's like the dog coming back to bite them, you were going to have someone like Amber Heard come along who was going to call out the wrong person. It was an inevitability, right? Like Thanos, my favorite guy, it's inevitable that you were going to have one person who you rallied behind that was going to be full of shit. And, at large, I really blame the greater press for this, because look at what they've written.
Well, they're the ones that, the thing is, like, she can say what she can have, her version of her story. It's the press who write it. She can call her little people at people all she wants, but it's up to them if they run it or not. And they know that. She knew exactly what she was doing TRO day. She knew exactly what she was doing when she went to go get the divorce. She didn't want anyone knowing she was getting divorced, but she wanted the entire goddamn world knowing about her TRO. So, but it was the media. The media covered it. So it is on the media, because people can run amok all they want. They honestly can. It's, are we going to pay attention to it? Because people will stop running amok if we stop paying attention to it. If we just turned our head and said, you know what, I'm not going to pay attention to that, they have no show to put on anymore because no one's looking.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. And Henrika has said that, yeah, this has been going on for 20 or 30 years. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I believe that this is a lot on the mainstream media themselves for always promoting this culture of divide and things like that. I think that as the press, I've always felt strongly that they have a responsibility to be honest to the people. I've always related it to like being a doctor or a lawyer, right? Because you're bringing people a story, and you're supposed to have truth and facts in it. And when you tell someone something, and you're supposed to be a verified journalist, or you're supposed to be a reliable source, you are misinterpreting and abusing people's trust in your magazine, your website, your article. And I think people like Amber Heard have been giving such a big platform to spew nonsense, and that they've been irresponsible in reporting what the truth and facts are.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is on them.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, they have a huge responsibility. Well, I don't know if Bella's still here or not, but Bella would be able to tell us what her responsibilities are as a journalist.
Yeah,
I can
because
find out after the fact. I think she's gone, but what I'll do is I will ask her that question, and I'll loop back around.
Yeah, and here's the thing: a lot of these journalists have gotten lazy, and probably not all of them. I'm sure Bella, you do a wonderful job, but I mean, in general, if you look at a website or you look at an article, watch who they source. They source other websites and other articles, but they never tell you where the original piece of information came from.
Right.
How does that happen? Are you guys not doing the legwork at all? Are you
Probably
so
not.
lazy you're just hitting Google?
Yeah.
And I mean, look at that THR article, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at some of the stuff she quoted, and Stevie pointed this out, which, by the way, goodbye, Mike. Yeah, he left.
Right.
I just kind of went on a rant. But if you look at what she put in the article, and we pointed this out when we did a stream together, she cited something that her own paper covered, and she got it wrong. We looked it up. It was in their archives. How do you misquote your own paper and get a byline? Like, that shows me you did no research whatsoever. You didn't even have the decency to research what you were writing about.
Yeah.
It astonishes me. Yeah. How do you get a front page, big expose that now everybody's going to quote?
Yep.
Yeah,
it's so true. And the thing is, and we've heard this before, but the thing is like, I feel it's my responsibility for what I do and my videos to be as accurate as humanly possible. Obviously going to still make mistakes. Obviously going to get things wrong here and there. But for the most part, it takes me so long to get videos out because I could spend an entire day looking for one article. I could spend the entire day looking for one piece of a piece of a piece of a piece. And if I can do that, why can't the journalists do that? When it's your job, that's your job. You do it. You do it too. I know it's painstaking and I know it's frustrating and I know it takes forever, but it's doable. It's very doable to find the facts at the end of the day. And if you can't find the facts, then you just say, I don't have any proof behind this one, but this is what they say. I can't find any verifying facts.
One of my favorite cases was what a movie Spotlight is based on, and it was the New York Times, I believe. They did an expose on the Catholic Church, and they ran down all of these people who were involved in this mass conspiracy of, you guys all know what was going on. It's not a secret anymore. And the legwork and the man hours and these people hearing these horrendous stories day after day, right? They went out there, they went to the people, they talked to witnesses, they brought some people forward to expose this, and that's dead now. that is absolutely dead. You don't have the people. Look, I know Johnny Depp's a star, so there's a little bit more leg work involved, but is the man really going to give you a quote when you start off your article praising Amber? Like,
Right.
and when he goes back through and he sees that every article you've done has been in her favor, are you really going to get a quote for him or his attorneys? No, because you've shown
he's got great
your
PR.
bias. Oh
Depp has
yeah,
got great PR, and they are not going to. They're not. He doesn't play. He doesn't play the game. He just says, "Listen, if I'm not going to give it to you." He's a very private individual, and I highly respect him for that, for being able to be so private for 57 years, being who he is. It's incredible,
and Jamie
and that
says
goes to his PR team as well. That goes to his entire circle that he's got. He's got it locked and loaded, and unfortunately, a viper got in the nest and screwed everything up.
man. Yeah, you have those choices you make in life. We've all made them and misjudged people, and it happens to the best of us. Especially considering, Amber Heard's not bad on the eyes, and he got swept up in the madness and didn't realize what was going on. Jamie Vick said the media doesn't have investigative journalists anymore. All they have are people who they look into. Yeah, that's true. It's not about finding the truth anymore. It's about stating your own opinion. And that's why we're at where we're at right now, was that everybody's got an opinion, but no one had facts to back up their opinion. That everybody had something to say, but no one had any good evidence to back it up.
Yeah.
So
I can have opinions all day long. Doesn't mean they're right. They're just my opinion.
I have a lot of opinions. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong.
But they're not facts. They're just my thoughts.
But anyways, this has been great. We've been going for 2 hours. I try to keep this to like an hour or less, but my goodness.
It went by fast. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much to every single person in the chat. I see you guys. Tammy, Shelly, Margot, Ida, Linda. Thank you so much. And Cherry has been in the chat, putting in all the links to every single person. Thank you, Lovey. Hashtag love Cherry. I love.
Oh yeah, Cherry. Let me tell you, one of the best decisions I made was making her a bot. Like I'm very stingy. I give everyone but seeing the way she's been dropping links, I was like, wow, she's been just amazing dropping those links. So thank you. And we had like at one point 95 people watching. So thank you. I'm just a guy with a cowboy hat who likes to rant. Les brought some class to my show, so I am so glad.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was great having you. The first half hour we got into your channel and everything. Hopefully some people got a new perspective, because I think the coaching thing you do is great. DM me some tips and maybe some breathing exercises so I don't rant as much.
Give me a little meditation tricks and tips. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I think a villain needs to meditate. A lot of villains lose their fight because they give away the whole plot to the hero when they got them trapped, and they lose their head. So I'm trying to do better as far as that goes. But no, you've been a wonderful guest. I've loved having you. I would love to have you guys have you back on, and everyone else. I'd like to eventually do a giant stream with all of you guys where we could just all talk and chat and really see how high I can reach those numbers now. But it's been.
I'm up for it, and I would love to do one with everybody. That's another thing that I love about this community is like the creators, the content creators. We actually, surprisingly, we support each other.
Oh yeah.
Competition, we support each other, and I love that as well.
I had Come Geek some on here, man. We were only going to go for an hour, and we just wound up going, and like now we're talking, and we want to do some other stuff. And he's such a great guy, but it was so, and it got me thinking like, wow, there's these big creators who are down to earth and, you know, they're willing to talk to the little guy. And I like to have them all on and just do a big shindig because, like, you know, that's what it should be about, bringing as many people as we can from our respective audiences together. And the chat's been talking to each other and having a great time. And, you know, that's what it's about, right? We talk about something serious and y'all have fun in the process, at least for me.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, Darkness Corsetto, I love you, Les. You're awesome. Well, thank you. Mwah! I love you. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Les
So,
wants to do everybody. Cherry in the hashtags. We try to outdo Cherry, like when Soups and I are talking to each other, like when we're DMing, we'll try and out Cherry, and we just can't. We can't.
Yeah. Moonshade, you're welcome. I know because of time zones, I'm very it's very hard to catch some of my streams, and I appreciate the replay because I know you guys catch the replay of it, but I'm gonna try to do some of these earlier so all of you guys in the UK can be a part and have fun with the rest of us. But you know, thank you everybody. And Les, do you got anything coming up on the horizon? Any spectacular you know, groundbreaking, earth-shaking videos?
No, I'm actually just working on a few. The timeline video for the text is coming. It's done. I want to have a video come out before it so it works in tandem as an actual timeline. So that's coming. And I've got a few in the works, but nothing earth-shattering as of yet. As of yet.
Well, though, you know, I enjoy all of your stuff and how thorough you are in your chats, and it's been a really pleasant experience. I can't wait to do this again. And if you guys don't know, it's not definite, not yet, but I'm in the talks with Anthony Starr and Hun Lee. If you guys don't know who they are, they both starred in Banshee, and Hun Lee does Warriors, and of course Anthony Starr does The Boys. I think one of the most internet breaking shows ever now. And I'm trying to talk to them to get them on the show, talk to you guys, because they are so good with their fans. They're really classy people. And I'm trying to see if they can come on and, you know, maybe you guys can ask them questions and things like that, because they've been really great. They talked to my dad, actually. And you know, it's been amazing seeing the response they give on very sensitive topics. So I'm working on that, and I also got a couple of things that I got going. Late night talks on Friday, fandom news with my father on Saturday, and then a couple of interviews here and there. I'll be on Stevie's channel. I believe, what did he say? Tuesday, Thursday?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll be going over there to
like
go down under and visit my mate. Yeah, maybe. I got to go back in my DMs. I'll post that out. He'll probably put everything up. He's so much more responsible than me. He'll have everything up like a week in advance.
I would not label him as no, I'm kidding. He's I was like trying to make you feel better, but no, he is pretty on top of everything. So is Soups, actually. Soups is on top of things too.
Yeah, she was wonderful. And that was, I never met someone who's like my female counterpart who's so like in your face. That intrigued me about listening to her. I was like, wow, Zod connects with this very, very well. Yeah, so she's wonderful. I had a great time. I'd love to have her back. I'd actually like to have both of you back because you guys sound like you have a really funny interaction when you guys. When you guys get together.
We have a lot of fun together. We really do. I love doing streams with her. I love doing streams with everybody, but I love doing them with her and Stevie just because we can we just bounce off each other so well, and because we're always like, yeah, we're serious. We can be serious, but for the most part, we're just nothing but jokes and shits and giggles. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Which is like, that's what I'm about. When I started this channel, I said I was going to be as unfiltered as possible. But when I get monetized, I'm sure I'm going to have to tone it down quite a bit. Yeah. But, you know, I started like my late nights with wanting to joke and laugh with everyone and things like that. So it's so great when I've came across you guys and seen how pleasant and how awesome you are with the subscribers and everything. And you know, I wanted to kind of incorporate that, get that over here, because, you know, at the end of the day, for me, it's about bringing people together, talking about something we're all interested in, and having a good time. And I think that should be everybody's goal that does this, is you should always show appreciation to these wonderful people. Because look, when I first started, I had 5 people watching, and now, you know, to see a bunch of people interested, it really just like touches me in the feels, man. Like,
it does give you the warm and fuzzies. It really does. And I just wish that I wish I could clone myself. I got to go talk to Muskie about cloning myself, just so I could spread myself a little thinner to connect with more people. That's what I would love to do, but unfortunately only one of me. So I do my best. I do my best.
I mean, I got a daughter, so I guess there's 2 of me, but my daughter, I'm looking to keep off of social media as long as possible. So, you know, she was doing a channel without Zod knowing about it, and I had to get her. She goes, "Dad, do you know about YouTube?" I go, "Yeah, you can't watch my streams yet, but yeah."
Not for you.
So, thank you, Sherry. Hashtag let's touch Zod in the feels. Oh. So thank you, Henrika. I appreciate. Thank you, Jamie Vick. Yeah, Jamie Vick has traveled a long way, and this has been quite a journey, and we're going to keep on going forward. And before we go, please, if you were new, you know, hit that like, subscribe if you like the content. Pass this around. I'm trying to reach 1,000. I've been rising really quickly, and I really want to make that 1,000 mark, just so I can reach more people in the algorithm. You know, you unfortunately only get so much from YouTube if you're really out there. And I want to reach as many people as we can, pull them into this great community, and you know, get as many people, you know, get the message out, because there's a lot of people. Look at this case. There's a lot of people who follow Depp, who have a voice, and you know, we want to get them and get their opinions and get this movement going. You know, look at the petitions and everything else. You know, it's just been crazy. I've never seen such a great movement that's made so much gains. Like, I've fought with Lucas for years now, me and other Star Wars fans, and it took up to now to get something we wanted. You guys just came together, and within these couple of months, years, however long this has been going, you guys have just been a tremendous voice to where the media can't ignore you, and that's special. That's so special. So thank you, everybody.
Done a great job. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for every single person in the chat. Thank you so much. Such an honor.
Oh yes, and thank you. It was so spectacular having you on. We'll schedule something. We'll see if we can get Miss Shelby with you, and we'll do some kind of crazy.
Soupsies, do you want to come on with me at a later date? She says yes. Okay.
So we'll get it. We'll do the DM magic and get something going. But you know, thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you share it around, and remember the only rule here in the Phantom Zone: kneel before General Zod. Everybody take care.
The darkness before we never